Hey, what's up? Tech Bro Charlie here, and welcome back to where we take awesome out of the box. Now today we're going to be talking about the top 5 budget phones under 10,000 pesos for the first half of 2021. It's finally mid-year and we figured it's about time that we updated our lists. Everyone's out looking for the next best deal, and we hope this video helps you out. Number 1. The Infinix Hot 10s. And starting off our list is a phone from Infinix, a brand that's become popular because of their bang for the buck devices. Sulit na sulit yung mga phone nila, so it's actually no surprise that they're here. For the build, we have a full plastic body with some small branding and a fingerprint scanner found on the back. I do prefer side-mounted fingerprint scanners, but that doesn't take away from how great this phone is. For the screen, we have a big 6.82-inch display with an HD+ resolution. But the selling point here is the 90Hz display. Medyo rare to para sa budget phone, so it's a solid feature. Now for the cameras, we have a 48-megapixel main camera, 2-megapixel depth sensor, and AI camera. And what I liked about these cameras is that there's one main camera with the other two supporting it instead of having a bunch of stat stuffers. While on the front, we have an 8-megapixel camera for selfies. Moving on, inside we have a MediaTek Helio G85 processor, and you have options for the 4GB RAM 64GB storage variant or 6GB RAM with a 128GB storage variant. I think it's a very capable set for the price, and you can enjoy casual gaming with a 180Hz touch sampling rate. But please do note that for bigger games like Genshin Impact, you'll have to lower the graphics a little bit, but at least kaya niya. And you can use this phone for a long time kasi meron tayong 6,000 mAh battery which is charged with a 10-watt charger. So as you can see from the specs, it's a good bang for the buck device to kick off our list. And you can grab one for yourself for 5,990 pesos for the 4GB RAM 64GB storage variant and 6,990 pesos for the 6GB RAM 128GB storage variant. Number 2. The Xiaomi Redmi 9T. Next up is a fan favorite, and it's not surprising because Xiaomi is pretty good at stuffing even their most affordable phones with good internals. For the build, no surprises that we have a plastic body, pero masaya ako that we have Gorilla Glass 3. I think it's great that we're getting protection for a very affordable price, and it also has a side-mounted fingerprint scanner as well. On the front, we have a 6.53-inch IPS LCD, and although it's not 90Hz, we have a full HD+ resolution to enjoy your favorite Netflix shows and videos. For the quad camera setup, we have a 48-megapixel main, 8-megapixel ultra-wide, 2-megapixel macro, and 2-megapixel depth sensor, with an 8-megapixel selfie camera up in front. Really packs, so sulit siya sa cameras. Inside, we have a Snapdragon 662 processor paired with 4GB RAM and 64GB storage. And although I think the internal storage isn't so big, expandable naman siya. And the setup is pretty good for casual gaming as well, so you can enjoy games like Mobile Legends here just fine. Keeping the phone alive is another 6,000 mAh battery, but this time we have 18-watt fast charging. So yeah, another banger for the list, definitely one worth looking at. And you can grab one for yourself for just 6,990 pesos with 4GB RAM and 64GB of storage. Number 3. The Realme Narzo 30A. Next up, we have one from the ever-popular Realme. Being one of the more popular brands in the country, it's no surprise they found themselves on this list. For the build, we have another plastic body, but what I like is the back does a great job against fingerprints because of the texture. Plus, we also have a back-mounted fingerprint scanner here as well. While on the front, we have a 6.5-inch IPS LCD with HD+ resolution. Nothing too flashy here, but I'm sure you'll enjoy your favorite media on this just fine. For the cameras, we have a 13-megapixel main camera, 2-megapixel mono sensor, and 8-megapixel selfie camera. Medyo basic yung setup, but understandable naman for its price range. Now, simple cameras aside, inside we have a Helio G85 processor paired with 4GB RAM and 64GB internal storage. Pero kung kulang yung 64GB for you, it's expandable. And like I mentioned earlier, it's a great processor for its bracket, and you can play games like Genshin Impact, but you know, on low. Still good though. Powering the phone is another 6,000 mAh battery with 18-watt fast charging. It's kind of funny how these budget phones have beefier batteries than some of the more expensive models. And that makes number 3 on the list, and you can get it for 6,490 pesos for the 4GB RAM 64GB model. Number 4. The Lenovo K12 Note. Building up a steady and trustworthy reputation with their smartphones is Lenovo, and the K12 Note is another banger for the list. For the build, you guessed it, plastic. But I think this looks really nice and clean, with the cameras and fingerprint scanner down the middle. On the front, we have a 6.5-inch IPS LCD with an HD Plus resolution. A pretty standard screen for a budget device, but I think colors look good and media should be a treat nonetheless. Plus, you even get the ambient display feature here too. For the cameras, we have a 48-megapixel main camera, 2-megapixel macro, 2-megapixel depth sensor, and 8-megapixel selfie camera. And even if we don't get an ultra-wide-angle camera here, it's nice we can shoot in 1080 60 FPS. Pwedeng-pwede para sa vlogging and content creation. Inside, we have a Snapdragon 662 processor paired with 4GB RAM and 128GB of storage. And we were able to test the popular Genshin Impact on this, and it ran smoothly on lower settings. Good news. We have a 5000 mAh battery here, but at least we're getting 20-watt fast charging. Each of the phones here have their own strengths and weaknesses, so make sure to pick the one that best suits you. And for this one, 1080p 60 FPS makes it a great pickup for anyone who wants to start their own vlog. And you can grab one for just 6,995 pesos for the 4GB RAM 128GB storage model. Number 5. The Xiaomi Redmi Note 10. And finally, making a second appearance on our list is Xiaomi with the Redmi Note 10. It may have the highest price point, but the features I'll show you guys will totally justify it. For the build, despite having another plastic body, we have IP53 dust and splash protection together with Corning Gorilla Glass 3. Basically, protektadong protektado. On the front, we have a 6.43-inch Super AMOLED display. AMOLED means deeper blacks and more vibrant colors. Pair that up with a full HD Plus resolution and stereo speakers and you have one great media consumption device. For the cameras, meron tayong 48-megapixel main camera, 8-megapixel ultra-wide, 2-megapixel macro, 2-megapixel depth sensor with a beefier 13-megapixel selfie camera. But what really makes this sulit is you can record 1080 60 and 4K 30, perfect for making content. While inside, we have a Snapdragon 678 processor with options for 4GB RAM and 64GB storage or 6GB RAM with 128GB storage. Probably the best chip on the list, so casual to more serious gaming should be a breeze. And despite being a budget device, it's more future-proof too. Keeping it alive is a 5000 mAh battery which is paired with 33-watt fast charging for anyone who needs a quick charge when you're on the go. You can grab one for 8,490 pesos for the 4GB RAM 64GB storage model and 9,990 pesos for the 6GB RAM 128GB storage model. And yeah, it's more pricey but it still falls under 10,000 pesos. And with all the buffs and specs for the cameras, internals, and screen, it's definitely a bang for the buck sulit buy if you have the extra cash for it. So there you have it, our top 5 budget phones under 10,000 pesos. With how fast technology is moving these days, it's no surprise we're getting more premium features on these sulit phones. And if you're looking to grab one for yourself or for a loved one, we hope our list helps you decide. And please do tell us which one you're planning to get in the comment section below. You guys can check out more reviews on Unbox.ph. Also, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Yup, subscribe because when you hit 250,000 subs, we're giving away a smartphone. So, don't forget to hashtag #SubToUnbox. Hit the notification icon if you want to get updates when we drop videos. Once again, it's your tech bro Cholo, and I'll see you guys in the next one.